Paul O'Sullivan walked into ad hoc committee calling himself an engineer. Committee asked, "Show us your degree." O'Sullivan then said, "I don't have one." He claims I was group executive job. Committee asks, "Show us qualifications." O'Sullivan, completely unqualified. Malema explodes. Everything good you remember, everything bad, it's suddenly 30 years ago. This man got cooked alive. Hit that like button right now, because what you're about to see is brutal. Dlamini, show the massacre.
When the advert was taken out for this position, what were the requirements in terms of qualifications?
I can't remember, Chairman. We're going back over a quarter of a century. I didn't keep a copy of the advertisement.
Do you have a degree or equivalent yourself?
No, that wasn't a requirement.
Do you have a degree or an equivalent? You?
No.
So that post will not, Group Executive Aviation and Security will not have required a degree?
No, there was no degree required in the advertisement.
It was designed to suit you.
I don't agree with that. The advertisement came out the week after I had that meeting.
Who was in the panel? How many were there and who were they?
I think there were 4 or 5 directors of Airports Company. The chairman and 3 or 4 other directors.
Was there no one representing the minister at the panel?
Chairman, I can't remember. It's, I think 26 years ago or 25 years ago. But there were people sat there. There were directors of the Airports Company, and there was the chairman of the Airports Company, and I think the group executive HR was there.
Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, everything good about you, you remember it. For sure, you even remember the flight number you came with here. But if something is not of your favor or interest, all of a sudden we're told, yes, it's 26 years ago, it's 30 years ago. But you have detailed every achievement you have made. You remember everything that suits you, that is good about you. There is a panel, you're being interviewed for such a senior position. Was there no one there representing a minister?
Chairman, when I went in for the interview, I didn't ask, where are you from, where are you from, where are you from, where are you from? There were 4 or 5 people there. I can remember the name of Monsieur Romano. There was another gentleman who was a white person. He was a director of the Airports Company representing Aeroporti di Roma, who was a shareholder. And to my knowledge, there was somebody there, but I don't remember who was representing the other shareholder, which was the government of South Africa. And then there was the HR director, and that's it. I can't, you know, I mean.
Did you have any qualification or any practical experience that has to do with aviation?
I've been a pilot for 40 years, and been a pilot for 40 years.
For 40 years?
Yes.
So you are a qualified pilot?
40 years.
I'm asking, are you qualified pilot?
I've been a qualified pilot for 40 years.
You went to school to be a pilot?
Yes. I own my own aircraft.
I live that. I understand. But school, because those people of pilots go to school and then they have to do some hours. Have you done all of that?
I've done all of that.
And then you had security experience, because it's aviation and security.
I have that experience. I went on a course in the United States to learn specifically about aviation security, because I wanted to understand. There's an organization called ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. And they have a training center where they train people and they qualify them as aviation security specialists.
So will you be able to give us certificate of that aviation security that you went to America for,
If I can,
and your pilot certificate.
well, I can show you my pilot's license right now.
No, no, not license, school, the school. Where you attended school, obvious, when you finish, they give you a qualification. Will you attach it? Will we get it tomorrow?
If I can, what do you mean if tomorrow? If I can find it?
Two things, please try to find them.
Chairman.
One of aviation security institution that you attended to in America, and the qualification, not license, because there is a certificate that you get which will tell us if where did you go and do your training, and then how many hours did you serve before you qualified to become a pilot.
Chairman, I wouldn't have any, I didn't fly to Cape Town with all these documents, knowing that I would be asked these type of questions from 40 years ago. The reality of the situation is, and there is my pilot's license. I have a pilot's license. I didn't buy it on the street corner. I did my training. I have my own aircraft. I fly my own aircraft on a regular basis. You know,
I wouldn't know if you bought it at your own street corner if you don't give me the qualification. The ticket doesn't say anything. When it comes to academic qualifications, that ticket you are showing me doesn't mean anything. I want certified documents that come from a recognizable institution that confirms that you went training to become a pilot and you passed the certain levels of the requirements, and the institution in America to check if that institution is recognizable institution and its qualification is recognizable. And we need both, even if it's not tomorrow, Chair. We need to, because here is a post, we're being told he can't remember what were the requirements. He doesn't have a degree or post-matric qualification. It says he went to aviation security to some institution and all of that. We need to see all of that, to see if indeed there was some element of qualification closer to this post that was specifically created for him.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. No, I just want to confirm one or two things. So, Mr. O'Sullivan, you said you were approached by Ramano and Mr. Dula Oma, correct?
no, I didn't say that. I said I was approached by Mr. Romano, who wanted a meeting,
Ramano and
who wanted a meeting with the
Yes.
minister. And
So
he
they
arranged
said
a meeting, and then I met them.
Bonani says they are not related.
No, I know he's not talking about the Ramano we have here. But what I want to check is, so then they persuaded you to apply, correct? They said you must consider
They invited me to apply.
to apply.
Yes.
And then were you vetted before you were
Pardon me?
considered for the job? Were you vetted?
I don't know what their internal mechanisms were, but I'm assuming they carried out the normally.
No, my question, I think, should start like this. The first job that you did was being a detective at the airport, which was a national key point, correct?
Correct.
The airport was the national key point. What was your responsibility
Worked in the border police there.
as a police?
Yes.
Were you vetted?
No.
So you worked as a police at the airport, which was a national key point, without being vetted.
They may have vetted me. I don't know, but I was a reservist.
So you had no a clearance certificate.
My knowledge, not.
Okay, no, thank you, Chair.
Honorable James, you will be the last and we.
Thank you, Chair. I'll save my questions for later, but I just need clarity. In 1997, when you got this paid job, was it as the group executive or was it at border control management?
I didn't hear what job?
The job when you started, you said earlier on in 1997 was your paid job at the airport.
All right.
You were dealing with drug-related trafficking and working at border control. I'm trying to understand, was it a paid job via SAPS or was it this group executive job?
And no, Chair, I was a police reservist.
You were police reservist,
I was a police reservist at the airport.
working at border control.
Border police, not border control.
Border police.
Border control was carried out by the immigration department.
So you were police reservist responsible for drug trafficking.
No, Chairman, I wasn't a police service responsible for drug trafficking. I was a police reservist in the border police. And we were involved in a lot of activities, which included human trafficking, drug
He's saying,
prevention. It was crime prevention.
okay, I'm gonna leave it for later. And then also, just to make 100% certain, you have no other qualifications, nothing. You don't have any law qualifications, engineering, nothing,
No, completely unqualified.
completely. Nothing in law, nothing in engineering.
That's correct.
I'll get back to this later. Matric, do you have a matric?
We don't have matric where I went to school. That's a South African qualification.
Anything equivalent to a matric?
Of course I have.
What is that?
We call it O levels and A levels, but I mean, we're talking about 40 years ago, so, or 50 years ago.
You were group executive. No qualifications.
Of course I had qualifications. With all respect, Chairman, you know, being an engineer doesn't fit in with group executive aviation. Point, a aviation security auditor. I was a person that carried out aviation security audits. So I had all that training and all those skills.
I'm going to leave it at that, Mr. Sullivan. You must remember what you told this committee now when I come back later. And this is why it was very important for you to have a CV as part of your statement. Then we wouldn't have been having this.
I was there.
Thank you. And then the handwritten letter, do you recognize your handwriting there?
Chairman, I feel that is my handwriting. But as I said, 42 years ago, I'd completely forgotten about it until somebody showed it to me the other day. So, yeah, I believe it is my handwriting.
Let's put it differently. Is that your handwriting on that letter?
I believe it is, Chairman.
Chair, what is the answer now?
There is no answer.
Is that your handwriting on that letter?
I believe that's my handwriting on that letter.
No, I'm not asking about belief. I'm asking about whether that letter is authentic and it's your handwriting that you see on there. You may not remember the content, but surely all of us remember our handwriting.
So I would probably say that is my handwriting.
Thank you. And then lastly, how do you say to us you don't remember who was your commander? Is probably 30 years ago and all of that? Because obvious, every police station in a particular year has got a station commander, has got this, has got that. And those people that we worked with for such a long time, and then giving people certificates that are not recognized by any institution, and giving them awards which you bought from a shop or Discom or something like that. You should remember those people. There's no way you can work with people and achieve these things that you said you have achieved, and you don't remember under whose command. As a person who's trained in military intelligence, a person who has been a reservist without being a citizen in South Africa, and having served for such a long time, there is no way you cannot remember who was a commander of these operations, because the discipline of what you are doing actually requires that you know your commanders.
Thank you, Chairman. I did not say I don't know who was my commander.